What is up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? This is your host, Cynical Enigma, as always. And, hold on a second. There we go. Just give me one quick moment. I gotta bring up my feed on here for my comments. Almost done. And there we go. Gotta grab my phone stand so I can see what you guys type. If you guys have any questions or want to join in on the conversation. But, alright. Basically, what made me want to do this video is I've been thinking over the weekend, especially this, everything gets tangled up, but over the past week I've been doing some thinking, you know, after visiting this new store that I went to. It's pretty cool, very nice people, very friendly. I mean, their prices are decent, they're decent, okay. I mean, about a quarter of their stuff is overpriced, like I said before, and basically I also wanted to talk about how video game collecting has changed over the past 5 to 6 years, including on my end. Basically, when I started out, I had a blast, man. I honestly, it started when I was walking home from high school one day, and I walked past one of my old neighbors that I grew up with when I was a kid. I lived right down the street at the time in high school, but I grew up on the same street, off the same street. I was on University, living on University, and then Van Buren Avenue was like right next to University. So I grew up on Van Buren Avenue, and at the current time I was living on University when I was in high school. And I was walking home, and I walking past my old friend's house or whatever, and he had there was a box sitting out there with garbage next to a garbage can, and I noticed a NES controller, and I was like, wait a minute, is that a Nintendo? And it was a box, probably, I want to say, damn, probably about two and a half times the size of this. I mean, it wasn't that big, but it was about 2.5 times the size of this, bigger. And it had, you know, 2 controllers, 2 light guns. Let's see, it had a stack of games, probably at least 10 to 13 games. And what else? I think that was it. But that right there, when I picked it up and I went home, and I was living at my brother's trailer at the time. He was taking care of me, and I was going through the box, and I was, you know, picked everything out, and I fucking picked up the NES. I looked at it, and I was like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I haven't played this in years. So I hooked it up, you know, all excitement and everything else, and I was going through the games. There was like Mario Brothers Duck Hunt, what the fuck else? I think Excite Bike, Hogan's Alley. The hell else was there? I can't fucking remember, man. This is so long ago. I don't even have the games anymore. But anyway, I was, you know, putting them in there. I was cleaning the cartridges out, playing the games and everything, and I was just like, man, this is fucking awesome. And then I got to think, you know, after I played it for about an hour or two, I was like, man, I miss the Sega Genesis now. I want to get a Sega. So then I was like, all right, well, I fucking went out, down to the pawn shops, bought a Sega Genesis for $10 with the wires and controller, and they threw in a game. I think it was Sonic 2 or Street Fighter 2, something like that. And then I noticed that they have a wall, like the fucking wall behind me, from like top to bottom, full of NES games and Sega Genesis games for like $2 each, no matter what title it was. So I mean, that's how I got my start, basically. And if you've watched me on YouTube, since 2010. You know what I'm talking about. You know when I had got my new place, and then I started building my game room up, and I had so many games, so many games, and I just couldn't stop. It's like after I got the games that I grew up with, I wanted to try out the other games I never got a chance to try out when I was a kid. So I continued on collecting, and probably about maybe 2011, 2012 is when everything started. Basically, for me and around my area, everyone started catching on. Everyone started going out to the flea markets out here. We only, at the time, we only had maybe 2 or 3 a year at the fairgrounds, but everyone started catching on. Everyone started looking up on eBay, thinking that they had gold. No matter what they had, even if it was Mario Duck Hunt, they would want $20 to $30 for it. Zelda, they want $60 to $70. For an NES console, they'd want like $80 to $100, or sometimes $60 if you were lucky. And basically, it just all went downhill from there. And then from like 2013 to 2015, kind of lost interest in collecting and stuff, because everybody wanted, wanted fucking, like maybe. Here's an example. Okay, here is an example. A game like this, okay, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for PS2. Yeah, it's hard to find. It's rare as in hard to find, not rare as in like, it's up there in price. But a game, they would want something like over $100 for this. And that's fucking ridiculous. I mean, even for fucking scalpers or whatever, they go out there and they'll find this stuff for like $2 to $3 at a garage sale or at a thrift store or flea market, and then resell it for like $60 to $80. Something like this, okay? Something like this should be a hobby. A hobby. Not some fucking life goal. Unless you have an actual video game store, that's understandable. That is understandable. But if you're the owner of the video game store, you should not, honestly, I think you should not go out and hunt video games for yourself, because that's taking the fun out of game hunting for everybody. You're not giving everybody a fair chance to, get a deal for collectors like myself. You're taking that fun and your fun away from all of us. I mean, even for kids, guys like me that want to take their kids out game hunting or whatever, that's all gonna fucking come to an end sooner or later. I mean, I kind of stopped because, Goodwill, no, not Goodwill. Goodwill's still decent around my area. I mean, I can still get games there for about maybe $2 to $4, sometimes a little bit more, like $10, but if it's worth it, I'll pick it up. But the thing is, I have another thrift store around here called St. Vincent de Paul, and they price the ever-living shit out of the older games. Like, I went in there the last time, probably about maybe a week or so ago, and I seen Madden for the N64, and they wanted $12 for it. Nobody's gonna pay that price. Nobody cares about sports games unless it's like, NFL Blitz or Mutant League Hockey or NHL Hits or something like that. Yeah, I'd buy those games, but if they're like between $2 to $4, I'll buy them. Here's another example, right? This game, Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Yes, it is complete. I did pick this up. Can't remember if I got it from a trade or from Goodwill. If I got it from Goodwill, I think it was about $2 or $3. But everybody wants like $80 plus for that game. It's not worth it. I mean, if a game has a certain rarity, you're gonna have to fucking try to break everybody else's prices apart. You're gonna have to be the person that they want to come to, basically. Whenever you make a deal or whenever you go out and buy games like that, if I bought a game like this, right, for $2 or $3, and I was planning on reselling it, I would probably ask $30 to $40. Just not for the fact that, well, I'm stingy or I want to be fair. I would want my customers or whoever I'm selling to come back to me for deals so they can help me make money, and they know that I'm not going to be stingy about prices. They know I'm not going to rape them on prices. They know I'm not going to demand a lot. And it's all about pleasing the people that want to buy the games off you. Now, here's another example too. At the new store that I went to, it's a retail store that sells older games and newer games and stuff. Decent prices, okay. But I got these two games. This game was loose. I had the box for it. But I bought Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, both for about $52. To me, that's a fair deal. Because I think this one was $26 and this one was like $27 or something like that. But that was a fair deal to me because everybody on eBay is demanding like 30 plus just for each. So it would have been over 60, 70 something dollars. But I mean, that was a fair deal. I took it. I snapped on it. I mean, I needed the games back into my collection. If you guys didn't know, I had to get rid of some of my games due to personal life issues, but I'm hopping back in and climbing back up the ladder to having my collection back up to where it was. But the thing is that everybody thinks they have a fucking gold mine when they find their fucking older games or stuff. They'll be like, "Oh, look at this! I wonder how much my N64 is worth now. I got all these games with it. Let's go on eBay." And then they'll look at the fucking asking price for it, not what's sold for, asking price, and they'll automatically think, well, damn, this is like GoldenEye 007 sells for about $50, so I'm gonna demand like, $50. You gotta be the person that gives the other guy a deal. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. I mean, there's no point in collecting anymore. Especially, I mean, even on Craigslist even. I mean, the only cheapest way to collect video games nowadays, as of right now in August of 2016, is to go out and buy yourself a Wii and mod the motherfucker yourself. I mean, I modded mine in less than 2 minutes, and I got a decent library of games on there. I don't have every single NES game or Super Nintendo game or nothing, because I think that's kind of stupid, because I'm not going to play them all. I only picked and chose the ones that I was going to play. And basically, that's what I did for my Wii. That's what's going to be staying on my Wii until I can actually go out and find the games that I want to buy, that I want to play. And that's another thing. People think, oh, this is highly collectible, so I'm going to ask like $80 for it. I'm not collecting the fucking... Well, I am collecting it, but I'm not shelving it. I'm playing it. I'm not going to hold it up onto a fucking shelf under glass and never play it. I mean, my sealed games, maybe. I mean, I'll probably won't open those, at least not now. But games that are already open like this, I'm going to fucking play. Possibly over and over again. 1 second. But my suggestion is if anybody comes across this video and they get discouraged at all for, wanting to go out and collect for a certain system, I would say do not get discouraged. I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm just telling it how it is, because that's the way I speak. But anyway, I would recommend collecting for the PS1, the PSP, let's see, what else? Or the Atari 2600. They are, right now, as of right now in August 2016, they are the cheapest systems to collect for. I can get a PS1 complete, I don't know about in box, but complete for about maybe $15, $20 at the most. and that's with the fucking AV mod in the back. Um, but the games for like PlayStation range between anywhere between $2 to about maybe 50 or 60, depending on what your taste is and your genre. But other than that, I mean, even the PSP right now, you can get a PSP for $20, $30. I found my PSP that I have right now about 2, 3 years ago at a garage sale for $10. They didn't have the charger with it. I took a gamble on it, came home, and I just so happened to have an extra charger laying in my wires bin. So I pulled it out, plugged it in, sucker powered right up. And yeah, the games for that, even brand new right now, range from about maybe $7 to about 25 to 30. And you can get the used games for between like $1 to $20. I probably have about maybe over 30 PSP games right now in my library, and I plan on having a lot more in the years to come. Let's see, what else did I say? Oh yeah, the Atari 2600. You can get games for that for like a quarter, like basically anywhere. On eBay, I wouldn't trust. I wouldn't really say that I trust eBay, but they're gonna want what people are asking for. But I mean, if you can find it in your area, go to pawn shops or whatever. They should have them for like really cheap, because that's where I got most of my Atari games. That's where my brother Chad got most of his too. They would have them by the box, man. Like the box down here I showed earlier, like that size full of Atari games. My brother would ask me, "Oh, take $20, $30 for them," and there would be like at least 60 games in there, and they would be like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine. Just take it off my hands." And then after he would do that, he would go into his car to put the games in the trunk, and here I'd see the fucking other dude walking down with another fucking box of Atari games. It's fucking, it was cool, man. Collecting back in 2009, that's when I initially started, but when I started on YouTube, it was 2010. But from 2009 until about 2012, 2013 maybe. I mean, that for me was the time to start collecting. I know beforehand, like anytime before 2009 was also the time to collect, because everything wasn't going up in price. It wasn't as big as it is now, and it fucking skyrocketed because I I think that the YouTube retro gaming community has a little bit to do with it, because of the videos that we would post there, you know, video game finds, Goodwill finds, thrift store finds, and then everyone would be like, "Oh yeah, this dude found Chippendale Rescue Rangers for $2, and that's like a fucking $50 or $60 game." But everybody would catch on to that. I mean, fuck, Goodwill even caught on to that. The website, or whoever runs the fucking website, they used to be a pretty decent company, and now they're fucking corporate. They want to make it money off of people that just give them free shit. I had a dispute this one time down in, was it Davenport or Cedar Rapids? It was at a fucking Salvation Army. And there was this poster down there that I wanted to get. It was, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the band Shadowfall. I believe they did Rob Van Dam's WWE theme back in 2001 or 2002. And it was signed by all the band members, and they wanted, I think, like $45 for it. And the fucking frame it was in was just beat the fucking shit. And I looked and I was like, would you take less than this? And they were like, nope, we have to sell it at price as marked. I mean, it's autographed by the band. And I was like, well, first of all, there isn't no certificate of authenticity. Secondly, the frame's all messed up. And what I did was I pulled out $25 out of my wallet. And I was like, here, I'll give you $25 right now. You take it, and I'll take my fucking poster. And I don't know if she was supposed to do that or not, but she did. But that's another thing I wanted to talk about too. Money talks and bullshit walks, basically. If someone wants something for, say I want fucking $60 for this, and you pull out about $35, $40 cash in hand and wave it in my face, I'm most likely gonna fucking, like 85 to 90% gonna say, all right, here you go, and take the money right out of your hands, and you take the game. That's basically how it works around my area. I don't know how well it works around your guys' area. I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on how the person is feeling that day, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. But I mean, it was just ridiculous. And the prices over at fucking Salvation Army, they get everything. That's the thing I don't fucking get. And one of these days, I will fucking call corporate and I will ask them why they charge retail price for everything that they fucking get donated to them for free. Because that's bullshit. That's fucking us over. They're ruining. It's not just them. It's resellers. It's fucking TV show, reality shows that fucking like for example, like that fucking what's that show called? Storage Wars or whatever. Oh, I got an NES one. This is one of the first NES consoles ever released. This is worth $8,000 to $9,000. No. Every NES console has that shit on the fucking bottom of the console. But the thing is it's I honestly do not see a halt in this bullshit. I honestly don't. Not at least for another at least 5 fucking years. I mean, pretty soon everyone's gonna. I mean, right now in my town, there's this pawn shop that I frequent often. I love this pawn shop to death. I know about almost all the employees down there. They know me by my first name. They talk to me every time I go in there. They let me know when new stuff comes out. Sometimes they'll even, if I'm there and someone has a stack of games that they're just, pawning off or selling to the pawn shop or whatever, they'll set to the side, wait for the person to leave, then they'll come and grab me and they'll be like, hey, we just got this stack of games. You want to take a look? And if you're interested, we'll sell them to you right away. Usually. But, I mean, I recently noticed that they're starting to catch on too. I mean, I went down there last weekend before I went out to this new video game store. That's where this is the pawn shop where I found the Sonic Generations for was it? I think so. Yeah, where I found Sonic Generations for $4. And I went over because they have like different sections. Like right over here will be like the PS3, PS2, PS1 games, Xbox, Wii, whatever. And then all the way over here on the other side, they'll have like the more updated stuff like Xbox One, PS4, controllers, consoles, games. And then below that, they'll have like handheld like the Vita and the 3DS, and sometimes they'll showcase their older games and stuff down there. And they had Mario Duck Hunt and Super Mario Bros. 3 card only. They wanted $20 for each. Mario 3, I could understand wanting $20. I would honestly gladly pay $20 for it because it was in immaculate condition. There wasn't anything wrong with the cart. The label was fucking excellent. $20, take my fucking money. But for Mario Duck Hunt for $20, that is not fucking worth it. That game is the most common NES game ever released. You can find that anywhere, in any town. But I guess they thought that anything with a Mario title is gold. They also had what was it called? Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, and they wanted $15 for that. I mean, that's all right, but normally if I found something like that, I'd be willing to pay about $10. If it's in the box, I'd pay more. Obviously, who wouldn't pay more for a complete box game, especially if it's on a Mario title? But moving on from that, I'm going to talk to one of my friends that works down there about that because I'm gonna have to show her some. I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to her about the prices on Mario Duck Hunt because honestly, that is the most common NES game you can find anywhere. I remember when I fucking went to GameStop when it was called Software Etc. Back when I was about let's see, when I was about 10 or 11, And I got Mario Duck Hunt for fucking a penny. A penny. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy how video games just fucking skyrocket and everybody just wants it. Everybody wants it, like from my generation and the generation before me. You know, wants it. I mean, when I was a kid, I always dreamed of having a game room because when I grew up, I didn't have it. Well, as easy as everybody, as not everybody, but some people had it. I've never had my own game console. I've never had my own TV until I was about 9 or 10 years old. And when I got my own TV, I got it from a garage sale. I paid $5 for it. It was black and white. It was a heavy motherfucker that I had to carry from down the street from where I lived all the way back up to my house. And yeah, it was pretty fucking exhausting. And yeah, I basically, if I wanted games, video games, or if I wanted a game console, I'll be honest with you guys, I had to steal the money from my parents to actually get it. Or I would have to take stuff from my toy collection when I was a kid, or kind of steal stuff from my dad, and this ain't no Confessions Live or anything. I'm just being honest and upfront with everybody that's watching. But I would take that stuff and go to my friend's house and be like, hey, you know, you have Rock and Roll Racing, and I'll give you my dad's 12-inch speaker for that. And he'd be like, okay, here you go. And yeah, I mean, that was like one of the only ways that I could, you know, get introduced to new games. My dad would rent video games, but he wouldn't let us go with to pick out a game, to pick one game out for us to play, or anything like that. So, I mean, I kind of had it hard. But then again, I didn't really have that good of a childhood. But video games is what brought me to my, was what basically was my escape from reality. And that's why video games mean so much to me. Give me 1 second. Now, will I ever stop collecting video games? No. I'm always going to be a collector. I'm never going to stop hunting for video games, but I'm not going to be going out of my way anymore like I used to, like on a weekly basis, just for the fact that, you know, sometimes thrift stores just want too fucking much. Resellers want too much. Craigslist wants too fucking much. eBay wants too much. Half-price books used to fucking overprice the ever-loving fuck out of older video games. But recently I went down there, the last time I went down there was about 3 or 4 months ago, and I got Mega Man 64 for $40 in the box, complete, in great condition. That kind of turned my hopes around for that place. I actually can't wait to go there again to see what kind of deals they got. But usually when I go out of town, I like to bring about $200 with me. Just this way, so you know, for gas, food. Let's see, so I can buy stuff for myself and for my kids and all this other shit. And also possibly, you know, go to Chuck E. Cheese. Who doesn't want to go to Chuck E. Cheese and play video games and eat pizza? But yeah, oh, I got a comment, I think. Oh shit, Tommy Boy's on, watching the stream. I got 2 people. Well, who's the other guy? Oh, what's up, random guy? It's probably Masky. I bet it's Masky. Hey, Masky, here's a big one for you. But yeah, even my brother watching right now, TommyBoy4550, in the comments section, you know, even he can tell you how hard we had it back in the fucking day. I mean, we had a fucking, I mean, it came down to where we were never spoiled when we were kids. We never got what we wanted when we were kids, except maybe 3 times out of our childhood we got something that we actually wanted. But I mean, like I said, like, for example, I'm sure you remember this 4550. When the Sega Genesis Model 3 came out, and we noticed when we walked over to Toys R Us, when I was about 9 or 10 years old, I was able to walk from my house to Toys R Us without my parents giving a fuck. But it wasn't that far away, honestly. I mean, it was probably about a good 15, 20-minute walk. But anyways, we went there, and as soon as we seen the Sega Genesis Model 3 for $20, we could not fucking believe it. And we looked at each other and we're like, dude, we're fucking getting that. So what do? We go back home. We stroll up the stairs after we go through the door, go into our parents' room, find our mom's purse, take out two $10 bills, and then just walk out the door casually, tell my dad, hey, we're going back over to Toys R Us because we want to see the new video games that are coming out. Okay. And then we, walk back over there, and then fucking we get up there, and we tell the cashier, we want the Sega Genesis or whatever for $20. And we're like, okay. Or she said okay, and then she went to go get it, rang us up, and it came out to about 21 something. And we forgot that it was gonna have tax on it on the console. So then she was like, oh, don't worry about it. I know you kids like your video games. I'll take care of the rest. And then we looked at each other. We're like, yes. So at the time, I think we had the Model 1. We never had the Model 2. I think someone's at my door. One moment. Yeah, I'm straight. Yeah, I'm still alive. You're staying right there. Oh, it can't be on? No, it's my screen. I'll have you as a guest some other time. But anyway, that is my state of retro collecting of this year as of right now in August. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I got company right now, so I got to get going. As always, this has been Cynical Enigma saying keeping it retro 90s style, signing out. Thanks for watching.